Hi, welcome to the Commercial Gas Engineer channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about the top 10 things I believe a gas engineer should know, domestic or commercial. Please put in the comments what you believe I've missed out or what you think should be higher up the list. Coming in at number 10, tightness test, how to trace and repair gas leaks. I think this is essential. Probably should be higher up the list. But you have to undergo training and be gas safe registered in order to do this. Videos are no substitute. There are videos such as Tomcat Gas Training or Alan Hart, but nothing is the same as getting trained and being gas safe registered. Okay? It is essential to also try to remember your permissible drops on different types of meters, how to carry out let by and stabilization, and your times in order to do these. So learn it. It's important to know how to do it. Tracing a leak is also important, and it can come with experience, how by route of elimination you can work out which appliance is leaking, and also using different methods like as gas leak detectors and your leak detection fluid. See which fluid or spray you prefer to use and get familiar with tracing a gas leak. Okay, after that, Y plans, S plans and three phase. As a domestic engineer, it is good to know Y plans and S plans. You may not come across them much because they're a more older type of system, but they are the basics and the foundations of wiring. Once you get to grips with Y plans and S plans, it opens up your wiring world and you start to understand more of what makes a system work and controls and so on. Three phase is more for commercial engineers, but it is good to understand the dangers of working on 415 volts and also how to test when you have lost a phase and what three phase is all about, how it operates a fan motor or a pump. What tools to have and how to maintain them. I have made a video on this, but it is important that you learn for yourself how to make a materials and tools list and what is essential in your van and your tool bag by where you work. Depending on where you work and what type of jobs you are doing, it is good to have a checklist. So at the end of the weekend, you may want to check it and to see if you're running short on especially the essential things such as leak detection fluid or gas caps. These things you shouldn't really run out of. You shouldn't really be getting in your van without these things. Okay, check out my video on that. Number 7, how to test boiler components. How to use a multimeter in general is important, yeah, and also how to test components. Don't play a guessing game, okay? We're not actors. We're here to do our job properly. We're here to test things. Ask somebody if you don't know how to test a pump, if you don't know how to check thermistors. Call the manufacturer and ask them, okay? Don't guess. Your fags. This information here I found it from Energy Academy, but it is important that you go to the source and look at your gas reference book or refer to your trainer in order to look at Flue's air, gas and safety devices, or what people refer to 26.9 checks. Yep, this is something that you need to know as a gas engineer. It needs to be your bread and butter. When you walk in a plant room, your eyes just like a robot just start looking around and checking everything and knowing when something is wrong. That's an important part. It comes with training and experience. How to understand flue gas readings. There are videos online for this, but there is no substitute to proper training and also ensuring that you're gas safe registered. You need to be able to understand what the readings are all about, what the manufacturer want their CO2 readings to be, whether it's 9% or 9.5. You need to look in the manual and know how to make adjustments on the gas valve in order to get to those readings. Yeah, you need to know whether you need to add more gas, more air to the combustion. You need to know also what is the acceptable ratio that you can have on a boiler when you do your printouts and so on. So when you're doing your combustion, you need to know as well your your carbon monoxide. How much is too much? You need to parts per million. You also need to check your excess air, and when you're working in commercial, you want to know how much is too little excess air. When you're doing your Flue integrity test with your air coming in, what's my percentage of my O2? What am I allowed on my O2? So get to understand this for yourself. It's important to know how to understand your flue gas readings. Do your printout and put it on the boiler, take a picture. How to work well with everyone. It's difficult and it's almost impossible to get on with everybody, but there is a way. You can manage to get on with people. Respect. We should all have respect for one another, and we should make an effort to work with people. We're all a team, and if we're rowing a different direction, that team's going to be in problems. One of us is going to have to leave the equation. We don't want that to happen everywhere we go. We don't want to leave every company we go to, or we don't want others to leave on our behalf. We need to work well in a team. Part of working well in a team is also knowing how to take orders from a manager, or you may be with another engineer who's more experienced than you. You may want to follow their lead, or you may need to take the lead. It's important that you know how to work under authority and take orders, especially when they're reasonable orders, and their expectations aren't unrealistic. So when you're getting a manager that's giving you orders that are realistic, just carry them out. Yes, sir. Crack on and do your work. You do not clash with everyone, or otherwise you may have to work for yourself. But even when you work for yourself, you're going to have to work with the client and get on with the client or the manager. You will always have to work with people, unless you go and live on an island and you're in a cave or something. We need to know how to work with one another, especially in the gas industry, where we come across many people that we have to be able to talk to and have good interpersonal skills with. So improve your interpersonal skills. You may be the best gas engineer in the world technically, but if you don't know how to work with people, you're going to be in trouble. Sequence of operation. So I found on boilerfaultfinding.com some time ago sequence of operation, and it varies depending on boiler manufacturer, what type of boiler you're working on. So find out from the manufacturer as well, or look in the manufacturer's instruction for the sequence of operation. You will start to know this by heart, and it's important to know it by heart, how a boiler operates. It will help you with your fault finding, and you won't just be spending hours trying to work out what's wrong with a boiler. You'll know straight away what stage of the fire sequence you're at, and then you dig deeper there accordingly. Yep, so that is important. Check out this person's website, boilerfaultfinder.com. It's helped me. Okay, health and safety, boring, isn't it? Well, how many times have you had accidents? None? If you haven't had any accidents, then maybe I don't know if that's a good thing or a dangerous thing, because you've not had any near misses. I have had some accidents. What are the most severe ones? Okay, I've been to Moorfield Eye Hospital for having solder in my eye. If I was wearing safety glasses, that wouldn't have happened. A boiler has fallen on my head before when I've been working with another individual and we haven't been communicating with each other, and it has somehow fallen off the wall and hit me. I don't want to go too deep into that, but I'm just saying to you, be careful. Know what the dangers are. Know the dangers that when you're driving, that's actually a dangerous part of your job if you're in your van a lot. Do understand as well that working from heights is dangerous, and people have a lot of accidents working from heights. Be careful with electric. Don't take chances with electric. What's the point? There's no point. Your organs inside can just get melted, or your hand burn off. You'll be surprised what can happen to you with electric if you do the wrong thing. Mistakes happen. Don't take chances with electric. Find out what safety procedures you can do to be safe. Sometimes these things aren't that hard. They don't take that long to just do certain things. To look at a ladder, is that safe? Don't just run in like a bull in a china shop and be like a fool that rushes in. Just use your common sense. Like, think, I'm not doing that. Don't try to be the big man and be like, oh, how am I going to look in front of Jack? I'm not going to look like one of the lads. Don't be like that. Just use your common sense and think of safety. Don't care what other people think, because those other people that you're trying to look the top shot around won't be pushing you around in a wheelchair. Okay, so you just stick to your guns when safety is important, and don't worry about what your office or what anybody else thinks. If you use your common sense and think that's dangerous, don't put yourself into that situation. Yeah. Find out as well statistics on how many people have died as gas engineers and things of that nature, if that helps you to be more safe, because people do die every year from silly accidents that could have been prevented. Yep. Unsafe situations. This is number one for me. I just believe that you need to know your ID and AR situations. You need to know what ventilation is. You need to know what a gas leak is, like if it's ID and so on, if ventilation is at risk. You need to know what these things are. You need to know for sure what do I do, because when you know what they are, you know what to do accordingly. You know whether you have to isolate the gas and cap it. You need to know whether you can leave the boiler running and get the signature from the client because of what it's categorized as and how dangerous the situation is. You don't have to be a robot. You have to also understand why these laws are in place and why you are shutting off the gas supply and so on. It's a legal matter. So know this. It's important to know your unsafe situations. I think you should try to know them by heart and know what to do accordingly in a dangerous situation, and what paperwork to fill out, what warning notice to put on, how to shut off the appliance, and etc. If you're a gas engineer, this for me is number one. You may think otherwise, you may think something else should be number one, but for me, unsafe situations are the most important part of the trade for me to know as a gas engineer. Okay, thank you for joining me. I hope this has helped. Please put your opinion in the comments below of what you think is important, and if any of this has helped you get your priorities as what you should know as a domestic or commercial gas engineer. Okay, bye.